Welcome back to the Consumer Book Podcast. I'm Jacob,
Hi, everyone.
and I'm, as always, with April.
Hello.
For this deep dive, we're going to be looking at Trump, the biography, from businessman to 45th President of the United States.
Yeah.
And, I think this is pretty timely considering President-elect Trump
Right.
is about to take office.
Yeah, it seems like now more than ever, we need to understand the man behind the headlines. All
Exactly.
those sound bites and hot takes,
Oh, yeah.
This book claims to present him in a way that we've never seen before.
Okay, so let's get into it.
All right.
So, this book really starts by talking about Trump's family history.
Uh-huh.
And it talks about how they started in Germany,
Okay.
and then they immigrated to America.
Interesting. And I think, this is particularly relevant today given our current conversations about immigration.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, this is a story that resonates with a lot of people.
Yeah, and then, of course, we get to Fred Trump,
Right. Donald's father.
who built his real estate empire and was even involved in casinos.
Yes, and the book really emphasizes that entrepreneurial spirit, that drive for success that was instilled in Donald Trump from a very young age.
So it's really presenting that as a key theme.
Yeah, almost like a driving force behind his entire journey.
It's not just about President Trump.
Right.
It's about Donald Trump, the person.
The businessman, the personality.
The man who has been in the public eye for decades.
Exactly. And, I read a review of this book that called him a brilliant mind in an ordinary yet rare family. And it just made me think, how do those two things even coexist?
Yeah.
It seems like this book is really trying to reconcile those contradictions,
Interesting.
to explore all those complexities in his character.
Yeah, and that's what's so fascinating about this.
That's absolutely.
It's not just about policy or politics. We're going beyond that.
Yeah.
We're talking about psychology,
Yeah.
motivations,
Uh-huh.
the events that have shaped the 45th president.
It's like peeling back the layers of an onion,
Oh, I like that.
trying to get to the core of what makes Donald Trump tick.
I love it.
Yeah.
So this deep dive is going to be really interesting.
It's going to be crucial to go beyond the surface.
Yeah, especially with the way the media is today.
Exactly. We're bombarded with so much information.
Right.
And this book could really be a valuable tool for understanding,
Yeah.
the forces that molded President-elect Trump.
Okay.
And maybe shedding light on his decisions, his ambitions,
Yeah.
and potentially even predicting his future actions as president.
Interesting.
It's going to be quite a journey.
Well, let's get started.
Okay. One thing that really struck me when we were looking through this was how the book ties his personal history to his actions even before he was president.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It seems like all those experiences, his family, his immigration story, it all kind of comes together to create a blueprint for how he leads, how he makes deals, how he just approaches the world in general.
Right. And it's not just listing facts and dates. It's like it's trying to figure out why he does what he does. It makes you think about how much our past really affects how we see things and the choices we make.
It's true. It's like looking in a mirror, right? Makes you think about how your own past shaped you.
Yeah.
And here we're talking about the guy who's going to run the most powerful country in the world.
Exactly. And I think that's what makes this book so interesting. It shows us that even someone like Donald Trump, someone who seems larger than life, he's still a product of his past. He's got vulnerabilities, experiences that shaped how he sees things.
It makes him seem more human. We don't usually see that side of presidents.
Yeah, we tend to put them on a pedestal.
Right. But this book makes him seem more real. Shows his flaws, his strengths and weaknesses.
And understanding those flaws, those early experiences, that's key to understanding his decisions, what drives him and how he'll probably lead as president.
With everything so divided these days, I think it's super important to try and understand different perspectives.
Absolutely, even if we don't agree with them.
Yeah. This book really encourages us to look past the headlines, the tweets, all of the political stuff, and try to get to know the man behind it all.
I agree. Whether you love him or hate him, there's no denying that Donald Trump is a fascinating and complex person.
Definitely.
And this biography gives us a really interesting way to see him and the things that made him who he is.
So we've covered a lot, but there's always more to talk about.
We'd love to hear what you guys think.
Yeah.
What stood out to you? What questions do you still have about Donald Trump and his journey?
Yeah, find us on social media. Let's keep this conversation going.
And don't forget, you can find a link to buy Trump the Biography, From Businessman to 45th President of the United States on Amazon.
The link's in the episode description.
And while you're there, check out our awesome consumer book merch.
Oh, yeah.
There's a link for that in the description, too.
Definitely worth checking out. And if you like this deep dive, please like, share, and subscribe to the Consumer Book Podcast so you don't miss our future episodes.
We're always looking at new books and ideas, so stay tuned.
Now, before we wrap up, this book, like we've been saying, it really tries to give us this full picture of Trump, beyond just the political stuff we see on TV. And it makes you wonder, does learning about his family history and how he became successful and understanding like what makes him tick, does any of that change how you see him as the 45th president?
It really does make you think. And that's what I think is so cool about these deep dives. It's not just about summarizing a book, it's about using it to explore ideas,
Yeah.
and challenge what we think we know and hopefully understand the world a little better.
Yeah, and in this case, we're trying to understand the guy who's going to be leading a superpower. Whether you agree with him or not, knowing more about his background and what motivates him can help us all figure out how to deal with the next 4 years.
For sure. It helps us see that leadership is complicated. Even the most powerful people are shaped by what they've been through. And who knows, maybe this deeper understanding can even help us talk to each other better, even when we don't agree about politics.
That's a really good point. Because whether we like it or not, we're all in this together. And getting each other, even the people we disagree with, is super important for things to work.
Exactly. So that's what we'll leave you with. Keep learning, keep asking questions, and keep thinking about the things that shape our world.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the life and times of Donald Trump. Until next time, happy reading.